gentlemen, in this RedGamingTed.com video, we're going to be talking a little bit about THQ and its present state of affairs. First of all, I'm going to kick things off by talking about something they're doing right now on Facebook, actually. And that's pretty much that if you go ahead and like their game, Metro 2033, on Facebook, you will be given a Steam code. It basically reveals a Steam code, and you can go ahead and you can download a free copy of it for Windows on the PC. And this offer will end, I believe, the 16th of December, so you guys, as the time of this video, have about 5 days to do so. So that's pretty cool for those of you who do not have Metro 2033, as you guys may know. Last Light is going to be released fairly soon, and obviously they want to build up as much hype as possible for that particular game. In case you're wondering how you can get hold of it, you can also redeem the code and so on. You guys know how the general drill works by now. It's also worth noting that for those of you who are interested in actually helping THQ, I'll go into their financial problems in just a few moments actually. But temporarily, let's talk about the Humble Bundle. THQ are currently on humblebundle.com, and it turns out there's actually a fairly good smattering of their games. I'll read them out to you. I'm sure you guys can just go to it anyway. But basically, it turns out that you have Dawn of War 40,000, Saints Row the Third, Titan Quest. Those three games are unlocked if you beat the average. In other words, you pay more than what they're asking, which currently is $5.70 actually, is what it turns out, which is a pretty good price. If you don't beat the average but you pay the minimum, you get Red Faction Armageddon, Darksiders, the original, not the second one. Metro 2033, as I've mentioned, that game, if you do want that, it's not worth it just for the Humble Bundle, but still. Company of Heroes, Opposing Front, and finally, Company of Heroes Tales of Valor. That's actually a really good, might add. Also, if you beat the average, not only do you beat all of that, but you also get Path of War DLC for Red Faction Armageddon, and you also get soundtracks from select games in both MP3 and FLAC, which of course is really good because that's lossless. As you guys may know, for anyone who's actually used to the Humble Bundle, how it basically works is that you can split the money however you would like. In other words, between a charity of their choice and THQ, and finally Humble Bundle itself. In other words, you can give them a tip. How it basically works is if you're giving them $25, that works out to be about $16.25 for THQ. The charity gets $5, and Humble themselves get about $3.75. In other words, the remainder. So you guys can work the splits out on that, depending upon how much you would like to give away. So anyway, it's actually a really good. Also, by the way, that you also get some obviously the DRM free soundtracks and all of that, which is really cool. And finally, by the way, just so you guys are aware, all of that stuff can be activated on Steam actually, which is a really good thing. As you guys may know, Steam is pretty much the best thing ever when it comes to PC games. I'm only kidding. Obviously, it has its problems. I'm just teasing. But on a serious note, it's really cool that you can activate it all via Steam. And the only thing I do kind of wish out of that bundle is that there were Warhammer Space Marines in it, because that's a really kick-ass game. But I will say it does have amazing good quality in it, and actually it's probably worth it for Dawn of War and Saints Row the Third. As I was saying, Red Faction Armageddon isn't too bad, and Metro 2033, should I say, kicks ass. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to now talk to you a little bit more about THQ's financial issues. Now, currently the Humble Bundle has basically raised about 4.6 million, that's US dollars, with an average price of around $5.70, which isn't surprising. And purchases so far, there've actually been quite a few. There have been 810,000, just over that. It's actually approaching 811,000 actually as I speak, to be fair. So that's a fairly sizable chunk of cash. So that's not too bad at all. I'm probably actually going to be picking up this bundle, despite the fact that I own a couple of the games. I actually want to pick up Red Faction Armageddon. Anyway, that's a slight point, but anyway. Now, as you guys may be aware, basically the idea of the Humble Bundle is to help smaller developers, such as, say, remember Super Meat Boy was on there, I believe Amnesia, you get the idea. Basically, it's to help them kind of get a kickstart, if you will, into the gaming industry. In other words, it helps to give them an influx of cash, basically. And as far as I'm aware, it's the first time that a big company, in other words, a big publisher slash developer, has basically gone ahead and put their stuff on there. And this is due, shall I say, to a number of factors. Mostly due to poorer than expected sales of, say, Darkstalkers 2 and other titles in the lineup. You guys might be aware that, of course, they do have some really big titles. They have, say, the Red Faction series. They have, say, WWE or the wrestling series on the consoles is what it comes down to, as well as obviously they've got smaller yet known titles such as, say, Darksiders, and they've also got really popular strategy games such as Company of Heroes, and also, of course, Saints Row. But how it basically is working is Saints Row and some other titles aren't doing too well. They are selling reasonable, but you guys might be might remember that Saints Row in particular didn't take too long before it went on sale. Also, a few of their ports, particularly on PC, I kind of wanted to smack them upside the noggin with them because they weren't that great. It's a shame because you know what? Some of the games, I've mentioned these games before, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and mention them again. Darksiders 2 is a really good game. It has issues, basically what it comes down to with resolution of textures. The update, which I did cover on RGT, you guys can check that out, and you can see that there is definitely a difference. It was a quickie, a quick video, but you guys can compare it, my first impressions to that, and you can see there's definite improvements on, say, the shadow resolution quality. But the game itself is really good, and the same thing could also be said, by the way, for Saints Row the Third. I mentioned before in a previous video that I thought it was a little bit too, what's the word, zany for my tastes. I prefer more serious types of those games, although I was actually quite a big fan of the original Saints Row, which of course was released back near the original launch of the Xbox 360. It was a really good title, by the way, and you can probably pick it up for a song now. And there are other games like Warhammer 40k Space Marines. I haven't actually played that in a while. When I first did, there was a bit of a bug with it that decided to conk occasionally for the PC version. I don't know if they've resolved that issue. But anyway, as I was saying, THQ have been having some issues, and how they're basically doing right now is fairly interesting. Now, why should you give a crap if THQ dies? That's the question. It's kind of hard to quantify this because we are all part of the gaming community. You know, you are part of the YouTube community, just as I'm part of putting out content for you guys. And the reason I put out content for you guys, especially so much of it, might I add. Okay, I admit that occasionally I, get the odd fact wrong or something. I'm human at the end of the day, but I really enjoy putting out the videos, and so you guys are obviously part of that whole thing, and we're all part of the gaming community. And what I think all of us would agree to, maybe apart from the odd cynic here and there, is that gaming really thrives on innovation. And some titles, say Far Cry 3, they're not perfect. They have the odd, you know, problem here and there, but they're really good. And I'm actually a big fan of Far Cry 3. I will be continuing the Let's Play of that, by the way, at some point. So much to do. But basically what I'm trying to say to you guys is that effectively what really pushes the gaming, in my opinion, is innovation and effectively someone willing to try something new. and bold. And for the most part, I will say that THQ are one of the more bold out of the developers. If you actually look at the lineup of their titles, uh, they're actually pretty cool. Red Faction Armageddon had some really cool things, for example, and Company of Heroes definitely set some, new landmarks in RTS in particular. I remember one of my friends when the game came out, they were just like, "Wow, this game, it's amazing." And I didn't actually play it that much, but there you have it. But other titles such as Dawn of War, obviously, if you're a Warhammer fan, which I'm not really, I'll be completely blunt and honest. But titles like, say, Dawn of War, Space Marines, they make you actually really interested in the lore because it's actually kind of cool. And other titles such as Saints Row the Third, they've done something kind of different. That I wouldn't say they've exactly broken the mold, but they've gone ahead and they've at least expanded on the mold. Which is pretty cool. And obviously, I've mentioned many times now, actually, one of my favourite titles, actually, and that would be Metro 2033, which is very cool. It's not perfect. I felt sometimes the narrative was a bit too slow, and sometimes I had a little bit of issue with the difficulty settings. But overall, I think it's an absolutely fantastic title. So yeah, I personally would not like to see THQ die. I don't have a massive soft spot for them. It's not like, I don't know, say it's Nintendo or let's go with something a little bit different. Let's say Capcom or Konami. I mean, could you imagine, for example, if it's Konami that are having this trouble? I think, people would probably be in tears if Konami died, for example. I mean, imagine losing, say, Metal Gear Solid and all those. Obviously, they're not in financial trouble. I'm just saying, what if? In a completely and utterly pure hypothetical situation. What I'm trying to tell you guys is, I believe that THQ are a good developer. I believe that, yes, they've made mistakes, but I don't really want another big developer to die. There are multiple reasons for this. The biggest one is that I don't want another reason for the industry to play safe, is what it comes down to. Say what you want about gaming now, but I would like it to be as, what's the word I can think of? I would like it to take risks, because without risks you're never innovating. So anyway, I've ranted on enough about this. I think I've got my point across. I'm not going to go into the exact financial history of THQ. I'm not going to say that, this is where it's been coming, but basically it's, this has been on the cards for a while now. I mean, even just a quick Google, if you guys Google THQ financial trouble, and you can see, for example, that one of the first results actually in Google itself is THQ's financial trouble, and that was even back in 2012, January. So it's been for a while now, and I think many people have heard rumours about it. Obviously, they are certainly not the only company that's in, I wouldn't say in the crapper, but they are not exactly doing amazingly well. So anyway, I hope you guys have found this video at least somewhat interesting. If only for the fact that, hey, I've given you a free game, effectively. So yeah. I'm interested, actually. There wasn't that many people who actually liked this, so I don't really think that many people advertised about this whole fact. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. I will no doubt see you guys around soon. Leave your comments below on what you think of the whole actual idea of that. Here's one for you. If Sega had lived, let's say, or let's say the Humble Bundle had been around back in the days of Sega, would it, could there have been something similar, or Kickstarter? I mean, I'd actually heard rumours, and I have absolutely no idea how true this is. This is just something that someone told me via a text message, actually. But I had heard that rumours of something like Shenmue, like they wanted to do a Kickstarter of Shenmue, or something ridiculous like that. I've no idea if that's any truth behind it, but it's just a bit weird anyway. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. I will see you around soon. Bye.